Hi, this is Richard Clue from richardclue.com. Just want to do a quick video today about book reviews and something that happens a lot, and especially in the indie space. That's book review swaps. And I want to talk about the unpopular opinion that they're unhealthy for your book, because they're not good for your book at all. The problem with book reviews is you're not getting authentic book reviews if you're doing exchanges. There's this kind of underlying you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of feeling just to it in general. There's also an issue that comes up when you do a lot of cross genre stuff. So you see this a lot, especially in Facebook groups, where they get together, they do book review swaps, and you have one author that writes mysteries, you have one author that writes horror, you have one author that writes romance, and you have another author that writes science fiction. Well, are there cross-genre readers? Yeah. But it's not your target market. So, someone who reads your horror book is going to be getting the also-reds of someone who primarily is reading romance. Because if you're a romance writer, you probably primarily read romance. Or at least you read enough of it that it's going to show up that way. Now, if I publish a horror book and my also-reds show up on the page showing people who are interested in my book that other people are reading romances like this book, I might start to think, maybe this book has a little bit of romance in it. Or if the also-reds are also sci-fi books, that's going to look bad too. Because if it's not a sci-fi novel, it has no sci-fi features, it kind of gives an odd impression. And it messes with your also-reds, because it'll also mess up where your book shows up for also-reds. On Amazon, it's that little, also-reds are that little bar of books just below your book that say, people who read this liked this. So you gotta look at that, and you have to say, hey, if I do a review swap with this author, am I going to end up getting a bunch of books that don't make sense that people would have read? And then you also get into the problem where you'll see people who have 70 reviews on a book and none of them are bad, which is kind of a red flag. I always try to avoid books that have too many good reviews and absolutely no bad reviews, because someone somewhere probably thought that book was at least a 3, and when all they have is 90% 5s and a couple of 4s, that's alarming. Especially if the reviews are all super vague with, oh my god, loved the book, that's it. That kind of looks fake, and it kind of looks like you're doing a lot of review swaps. I know it's not the case for all of them, but when you have all of those and it looks fake, and then your reader goes into reading it and they find out, oh, this isn't that polished. Oh, this book is maybe a 3-star book when it should have, when everyone's praising it as a 5-star book. I'm not saying your book is being overrated or that most books are overrated. People generally rate high on Amazon. If they like something, they usually just give it a 5. There are people who don't like the subject matter of a book and they'll give it a 1. That just, to me, hones in the case that someone should have said something bad. If the book is selling, if the book is good enough to be selling and doing well. And that actually adds more authenticity to your book. So even if you look at like Stephen King books, Stephen King has some bad reviews. There are people that read Stephen King books and give him 1 star, give him 2 stars for various reasons. It's a good thing. You should have them. And it's actually how we grow, is by seeing what people don't like and what people do like about what we're doing, so we can evolve our writing to reaching our audience better. I also think that review swaps are a waste of time. So, like I said, a lot of them end up being cross-genre. So if you read a book cross-genre and you don't enjoy that genre, or it's just you do the book review, or maybe you don't even read the book for the trade. You just make up a review. Or maybe they do that to you because you don't know. It's weird. So maybe it's weird is kind of a bad way to say it, but you're going to end up wasting time getting these extra reviews to get really nothing in return. And a lot of people, I've seen about half the people who have offered these out. They don't do free books. They're like, oh, buy my book, I'll buy your book. That's the review swap. So it also kind of helps your rankings. So you buy their book that's $2.99, they'll buy your 99-cent book. I've seen that quite a bit, which I think is hilarious because they're like, hey, I'm going to get my money back. And I get a review. And it'll help my rankings because I got an actual sale. I think a better way to do this, if you really want to get reviews this way, would be to make a group of authors in your genre and then review each other's works slowly over time, like over the course of a couple of months. Get like 10 horror writers together, and all the horror writers do it. Or get 10 sci-fi writers together, and all you review each other's sci-fi books. Something like that. Or you could do the best thing for yourself, and that would be to find some advanced copy readers. So if you can find 10 people who would like a free copy of your book, you can do an advanced copy to them, so they get it about a month before your release. They have a month to read it. If they have a blog, they can put a blog post out on it. That helps you too. And then you'll actually end up getting a review from them at the end when you send them a free copy of your book. So it's kind of the same process, but they're people who have really nothing to gain from doing this. It's people who are just solely interested in your work. That's all they get is the free book, and that's the kind of honest reviews that you want, especially if you can attract any book bloggers that are interested in it. And you would do that, at least the way I've done it, is to actually, I blog a lot about book writing and books, because I read a lot because I write a lot. So I write book reviews, and that's really helped me a lot to connect with that community. So those are just some thoughts. There's a lot of better alternatives than doing review swaps. It's a waste of time. It's bad for the community. It's part of what's causing all this bad impression of book reviews on Amazon that honestly don't think you can trust most books until they get over 100 reviews, just because a lot of people do review swaps, especially at the zero reviews, well, not zero, at the 1 review to probably 20 reviews. A lot of that can be review swaps, and you got to watch out for that, because I picked up a lot of books that are full of errors, grammar, full of spelling errors, full of just storyline errors that, like, the story doesn't make much sense. It's just kind of people out doing things, and then everything works out, and then went to the store, and then there was an explosion, so we just went and got some guns and took care of it. But there's not really motivation, and there's no characterization, there's no character development, and the story doesn't ever have a point where you connect to the character or you feel like anything's at stake. It's just, this is the thing that happened. They're 5-star books. So I think review swaps are hurting our industry, and I don't think you should be doing them. I'm not doing them. And you guys have a great day.